What are 4 types of family conflict? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about family conflict. In this video, we're going to be talking about the 4 types of family conflict that you'll most see in families. And then we'll also talk about what you can do about it so that you don't have to have those 4 types of family conflict at your house. Many times people think of anger and aggression when they think of family conflict, and rightly so, but family conflict can look differently than that as well. Family conflict can look silent. It can look like a person who just simply doesn't trust another person and doesn't talk to them. It can look like disconnectedness or people not engaging with each other. So let's talk about how these conflicts happen, because sometimes you can get the angry, aggressive conflict or the isolated, disconnected type of a conflict from the same situation. This first type of family conflict is very common. It could happen in any family, but it's not something that we need to accept as normal. It is not being understood. So having a difference of opinions, not being on the same page with each other, all of that would be not feeling or being understood. When someone feels misunderstood, they feel like somebody else doesn't care. It actually hurts their bond with the other person. So you end up having a bonding or an attachment problem that makes it so that that person that has a need that they feel like isn't being met, which is the need to be understood, starts to feel like those people are villains, that they are the victim of their circumstance, that somehow they're being oppressed because their needs aren't met, because they are not understood. We are actually at a stage in our history where mental health takes the forefront in so many conversations. We could debate whether that's actually healthy for us or not. I'm not sure it is. We are making a lot of guesses and stabs at mental health. But I will say that one thing that is happening is when people don't feel understood, or they don't feel like somebody has time for them, or they don't get what they want, a lot of people now, because of this mental health lens, are immediately just saying like, I'm okay, I'm not okay, I don't feel comfortable, this relationship is toxic, and they're going to extremes just because of a very normal thing, which is not feeling understood. If I could just say that again, it's a very normal thing for a person to not feel understood. We all have moments in life where somebody doesn't get us, where we didn't communicate in a way that was super clear or appropriate. And so not feeling understood, probably the #1 type of communication that is going to lead to a family conflict. So what do you do about it then? How do you solve that type of communication? Well, first thing, you want to have very clear expectations. This means that you want to do a lot of what I call pre-teaching. So when you pre-teach someone, you tell them ahead of time what is expected of them, what the negative consequence will be, what the positive consequence will be, and then when they make their choice, there's not as much of an element of surprise. When you pre-teach ahead of time, this decreases anxiety, which decreases frustration. If you pre-teach the person ahead of time, this is how we will communicate. If you feel like I don't understand you, come to me and talk to me in this way. So you come up with a plan ahead of time as a family for how to solve the problems, how to engage each other in good, healthy conversation. That you also plan at the beginning of that conversation how you're going to keep your lens fixed during the conversation, what mindset you're going to be in, that you're going to trust the other person wants to understand, that you hope they will trust that you want to understand, that you're both going to have patience as you're trying to communicate and gain understanding with each other. Those types of things can be pre-taught ahead of time and significantly decrease the frustration that comes from misunderstandings or a difference of opinion. The next type of family conflict is power struggles. Just those good old-fashioned knock down, drag out, you made me mad, no, it's your fault, no, it's your fault, and everybody gets angry with each other. One person engages emotionally, now everybody comes in and engages emotionally. Again, there's probably a difference of opinion there. In fact, those misunderstandings probably now have escalated, and they have led to the power struggle where people are starting to yell and fight with each other. Really, why do people have a power struggle? It's because they're trying to control everything that's around them. The antidote to a power struggle is to control yourself and not try to control everybody else. But the irony is, once one person starts to control everybody else or try to control everybody else, then the other people try to control that person. So now nobody's focusing on controlling themselves, everyone's focusing on controlling each other, and voila, you have a power struggle. What can we do ahead of time to make sure? What's another thing that we could pre-teach to our family members so that we don't engage in power struggles? How can we get to a place of better understanding? Well, one thing that we can do is teach a really vital self-government skill called disagreeing appropriately. So there are 4 basic skills of self-government. All 4 of the 4 basic skills will decrease power struggles and conflict within the family and will help the family be more understood and have better communication. But the disagree appropriately skill is oftentimes a child's favorite skill. And this is because this is the way where they seek to understand, then be understood, meaning that they get the opportunity to get understanding from their parents. So the steps to disagreeing appropriately are: you look at the person, you keep a calm face, voice, and body. That's right, you have to stay calm the whole time. Okay? Then you say that you understand the other person's point of view, share your point of view, listen to what they have to say, and then if you changed your mind, great. If not, just say okay and drop the subject, because you can't control everybody else all the time. So what does that look like? It looks like, hey mom, can I disagree appropriately about doing my chore right now? Mom says, sure, because we always want to say yes when they ask to disagree appropriately, unless they just did a disagree appropriately about the very same thing. So I say yes to show them that that's the way to communicate, not whining, anger, frustration, or any of those other power struggly things to do. And then they say, Mom, I understand that you want me to do my chore right now, but I think I have maybe 15 more minutes left of my homework. So would it be okay if I finish my homework first, then do my chore? Oh, there's some important information. So the parents probably at that point can agree with the child and say yes. They're going to praise them for such a great disagree appropriately. The child's going to get their way, and they're going to see that that type of communication actually works at solving their problems. What could have happened if they didn't have the skill disagree appropriately is they could have been like, Mom, I'm not even done with my homework yet. And then mom would be like, don't yell at me. You know what? You have to do your chores. You're always coming up with an excuse. Son starts a power struggle. Parent comes into the power struggle. Son gets mad and angry. It goes back and forth until things explode. We don't have to have that happen if we have the skill disagreeing appropriately. The third type of family conflict is distrust. So when a person does not trust another person, this creates a disconnection in the relationship. It can actually create some isolation. So these types of family conflicts are usually a little bit more silent. They're not angry, they're just withdrawn. And when people are withdrawing from each other, the solution that they need is they need to bring things back into the open. They need to have good open communication. They need to be able to discuss things and hear each other's point of view so that they're not assuming and judging about that other person anymore. Family conflict type number 4 is disrespect. So when you disrespect someone, that means that you don't honor who they are. It also means that you might have a skewed sense of who you are. When you don't respect somebody, this leads to increased manipulations. So what should you do when you aren't sure who you are or they are and you're just turning to manipulation? You should focus back again on who you are, which means come to an understanding of roles. Here's a couple of my books. This one's probably the most popular, Parenting a House United. This one here is called Roles, which is what we're talking about. I ended up writing this book, Roles, because after I wrote this main parenting book, I realized that people didn't understand roles as well, and it was going to be a little bit more difficult to implement all of the skills and principles of self-government if their roles were off in their family. When I say roles, I don't mean relationships either. I mean that people actually don't understand who they are to each other. So you ask a 15-year-old son, what's the role of a 15-year-old son? He's going to give you a blank stare. He'll know that a dad is like a provider, maybe a protector. He'll know a mom's maybe a nurturer, a caretaker, maybe also a protector. He'll be able to tell you some things, but he won't know who he is. And if you don't know who you are, then you're left to start to take over other people's roles. And when we have dysfunction in a family, which is another word for family conflict, roles is often a culprit. Children trying to tell parents what to do, parents who are not respecting that children are learners and they're overreacting at them, or just taking a hands-off approach and not doing anything until it gets to critical mass stage. If the parents don't teach, which both parents are teachers, that's part of their roles, and if the learner doesn't learn, which every child is a learner, now of course they have other roles as well, okay? And I'm not going to go into all those details right now. Those are in this book, Roles. But if the teacher doesn't teach and the learner doesn't learn, then we are going to have family conflict every time. We will have bossing. We will have people not listening to each other, not following instructions from each other, not caring. In order to bring the family into alignment so that we can stop that family conflict, we've got to get back on the same page. And in this book right here, I share a key tool for getting on the same page, which is creating a family vision. So I talk about in here how to prepare a 20-year family vision and how to help your children get on the same page or actually care about that with you. And then of course the skills that you'll need to stay on track the whole way along, how to solve those conflicts and relationship problems, and how to do it with good unifying behavior and connection. Those books, as well as other courses and trainings, many other things you can find on the website teachingselfgovernment.com. Those are 4 types of family conflict. There's probably a few others that I didn't hit on this video, but no matter what type of family conflict you're in, you know when you're in it. Get the tools you need to not fall in those traps anymore at teachingselfgovernment.com. I'll see you there.